Hello, my name is Grace Cow. I'm the IBM Professor of Sociology at Yale University. I also write a column for the Korea Herald, and recently I had the opportunity to interview Andrew Choi, who sings as Jinu in the hit Netflix film K-Pop Demon Hunters. I thought I would share with you some of the excerpts from my interview with him. Enjoy!
I wanted to use my time to do music, and I set up a band during my student days at Rutgers, and we were together for like 4.5 years, and we were very fortunate in that we had a fan base, had some support from like certain committees, and so they would like fly us out to different campuses, and we got to like perform, and it was a fusion of like alternative rock and like R&B music. I was the lead singer of the band. We were all Asian Americans, so like three Korean Americans, one Taiwan American, one was a German dude. And so that was a really good run. It's probably one of the best moments of my life. But it was hard making a living,
Yeah,
especially as like an Asian band. And things
yeah.
got rough and the members started leaving like one by one, and I was just sort of left to do music on my own, and that became really, really tough. And I spoke a little bit of Korean, to my parents growing up, but I was never that good at it. Enough to get by, like just say the essential things. I met this one track maker. He was an aspiring track maker, and we just decided to write some songs together, like 5 or 6 songs, with very poor equipment. We were talking and decided to pull together some money and just like rent out like a professional studio and get our songs just recorded, just for the heck of it. And as luck would have it, that studio was owned by a guy named Taesung Kim, who was already deep into the industry during that time. He he like forgot his bag, so he came back into to speak to me. Um, and he told me he had a couple of tracks and asked if I would like to write some songs over it. So he
Mhm.
sent me 2 tracks, and that same night I went back home. I went back to the studio and recorded a very rough demo of
Mhm.
one of the songs, and I sent it back to him. And what's even more incredible is that later on, I found out that that track was actually Teddy Riley's track. My mind was blown because I'm such a huge fan of Teddy Riley. I grew up listening to almost every Michael Jackson song, and the Dangerous album was one of my favorites. About a year into becoming a songwriter, and Hezong sort of persuaded me into going on that show. Um, by that time, I was really happy just being a songwriter, and I felt like, being up on stage and singing for people, I got that out of my system.
Mhm.
And personally, I didn't really want to do it, but well, I guess it all worked out, especially during this time when
Yeah,
Demon Hunters has gotten as big as it did. But
yeah.
yeah.
고르고라도 듣기 좋아 냄새가 나도 향기로워 쉽지 않아도 너무 빛이 나서 죽겠네 hey, yeah. 이러다 정말 미쳐 돌아버리면 어쩌나 hey.
Matches city pop really well, that sound. So it's a
Oh,
little bit,
really?
yeah, so it's a little bit to me
Okay.
ethereal. And I think that's
Oh,
good
thank you.
for playing like because he's an old demon. I know it sounds kind of goofy, but maybe I'm overthinking it.
It's
But
okay.
like, they look like idols, but they're actually kind of old, right? And he's very old. And so I
Yeah.
just feel like having something that's a little bit sort of, maybe it's all, I
No,
don't,
I mean, I was just trying to do my best, like to feel young,
hmm
as especially at my age, and for a lot of songwriters my age, um, that's one of the concerns that we always have is like, okay, do I sound too old these days?
yeah.
Yeah, I had to see it on Netflix. I don't like the sound of my voice personally, so I was really uncomfortable. I yeah, but it it was surprisingly more comfortable for me to watch than I would have thought. Like the story was great. Like I'm just so grateful that it was received so well. Like super, super grateful.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had no idea. I recorded my parts and almost forgot about the film, because my schedule as a songwriter just didn't change. So I
Yeah.
kept working.
Going. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the 20th when it was released, I was in Daejeon visiting my mother and my Instagram blows up. I was just so shocked
Yeah.
at how well it was
So
received. But I
nice.
think Korean pop music is heading towards that direction more and more. It's the simplicity factor. Yeah. It used to be a lot more complicated. I think that it, like you said, people who don't even listen to K-pop enjoy the movie. They're enjoying the soundtrack. And so I think K-pop is gonna reach a wider audience, which I think is great. But also I think the reason why non-K-pop listeners enjoy the soundtrack is because we talked about the simplicity behind the songs, but also um it's sophisticated. It's sophisticated in its simplicity. And I think that is something that in some ways was lacking in K-pop. And that's why there's still some reluctance to listen to it. But I think what K-pop Demons music shows is that uh, K-pop music can be really good, and the vocalists um, can be exceptional as well. I think that's something that's been really lacking. There's a lot of incredible vocalists out there um, in K-pop music.
Is there any?
I'm planning on releasing a couple of songs in the next couple of months, so we'll just see how that fares.
So far gone, I kept them all at arm's length. Too afraid of fall, turning lies into truth. Yeah, was better just to be jaded. Yeah, but you bring something